Thanks for clicking. This is Top 10 Nerd and I'm your host, Mary Jane Watson. And I have a question for you. Who would win in a cat fight, Black Cat or Catwoman? Let me know in the comments below. In this video we will be counting down the top 10 surprising facts about Black Cat. For those who don't know, Felicia Hardy is the Black Cat, a famed Marvel cat burglar. Capital EX, ex-girlfriend of my bae, Peter Parker. Black Cat is known for being a master thief and a skilled acrobat and fighter. And fun fact, according to Marvel, she is a natural platinum blonde. Interesting. Black Cat is also known as the longtime on and off again paramour to Spider-Man. Now, let's get counting, Tiger. Number 10. Owns the bar with no name. After her rise as a crime lord, Felicia Hardy became the owner of the famous bar with no name in New York. We learn more about the way she runs her establishment in the 2017 Star-Lord series. Yeah, she runs it like a pretty scary, stealthy crime boss. Number 9. Powers. Although we may have become familiar with Black Cat's bad luck powers, did you know that Felicia Hardy actually started out as just your average girl? In fact, it was her relationship with Spiderman that inspired her to get powers in the first place. She never felt like her and Peter were equals and was worried about him putting himself in harm's way in order to protect her. In an attempt to fix these problems, she tried to get herself some superpowers. Not an easy task. When Felicia did finally manage to acquire superpowers, it was revealed that they were designed by Kingpin. Does not sound good. As such, her powers, which influenced others' bad luck, were both a blessing and a curse, as they originally only targeted those that she fought or those that had feelings for her. Now, that's some bad luck. In the comics, Black Cat has lost and gained back these powers multiple times and has had different levels of control over them. She also at one point had cat-like powers, but also lost those. To compensate for the loss of her cat powers, she built a suit that mimicked them with accessories to boot, such as equilibrium earrings and electromagnetic contact lenses. Snazzy. Number 8. Maniac. There is a time when Black Cat is actually attached to a symbiote. Sort of. She never goes so far as to bond with Venom or anything so extravagant, unfortunately, but she does become a part of Maniac's Inklings. Unwillingly, of course. Lee Price, a small-time criminal with a hunger for power, ends up getting his hands on and bonding with the Mania symbiote and becomes Maniac. Using little parts of the symbiote, Maniac is able to latch onto and take control of the minds of supervillains. He calls these supervillains his Inklings. It is in this way Maniac manages to gain control of Black Cat's mind, wanting to use her connections to get in with the biggest crime families in the world. Fortunately, Black Cat ends up getting free, and with the help of Agent Anti-Venom, aka Flash Thompson, Venom, aka Eddie Brock, Spider-Man, and Andrea Benton, she manages to help stop Maniac's dastardly plans. Number 7. First appearance. In the 1963 The Amazing Spider-Man issue 194, the first thing Black Cat does upon acquiring her suit is free her dad from prison. This is the first time we see Felicia in the comics, and although she has already become a criminal at this point in her life, I think it is very becoming that this is the first heist she plans upon having her suit. Felicia's dad is Walter Hardy, a famous thief and cat burglar himself. Felicia rescues her dad from prison as she knows he is sick and doesn't want him dying all alone. She does this despite the fact that her father was absent for her entire life and does not even recognize her upon being rescued. As someone who is close to my dad, this story really resonates with me, and I think it speaks volumes of Felicia's character. Number 6. Mary Jane. Although Black Cat and I, MJ, haven't always seen eye to eye, in fact there were times she physically assaulted me, we're on pretty good terms now. It took a while for Black Cat to rise up above her obsession of Peter Parker and her envy of MJ. In fact, the two even teamed up in the 2009 Web of Spider-Man series. At the end of their adventure together, Black Cat compliments MJ, confessing to Peter if someone had to replace herself as his love interest, then Mary Jane was a pretty good pick. Peter reveals that he and MJ are actually currently broken up, and the two Spider-Man ex-girlfriends decide to hang out afterwards, much to Peter's dismay. Number 5. Savage Land. Black Cat was kidnapped and forced to participate in a battle royale type game where herself and Wolverine were released and hunted on Savage Island. Of course, the duo make short work of the team of hunters and leave the orchestrators of this morbid game, Arcade and White Rabbit, stranded on Savage Island. Watching the two team up is hilarious and fun. You can check out the full adventure in the 2006 series Claws. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend checking it out. Number 4. Training. In 1979, we knew Felicia became Black Cat because she wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. In 2002, more was added to Felicia's backstory to explain the motivation behind her training as a fighter and an acrobat. In the series Spiderman/Black Cat, The Evil That Men Do, written by Kevin Smith, we discover that Felicia Hardy was a victim of sexual assault. She was assaulted by her friend Ryan while in college and sought revenge. It was for this reason that she initially started her physical training. Though Felicia never did get revenge on Ryan, it is this experience that set her on the path which eventually left her following in the footsteps of her own father. Number 3. Romance. We all know Black Cat has had an on and off again romance with Spider-Man himself, but who else has garnered the affections of the Bad Luck Cat? Although she has been known to have been in relationships with other superheroes and villains, like Puma and the Foreigner, she also dated Peter Parker's best friend, Flash Thompson, at one point. Though the relationship was originally most likely an attempt by Black Cat at making Peter jealous, she did eventually fall for Flash. However, once he found out her identity and the proverbial and literal cat was out of the bag, the two eventually broke it off. Black Cat also once flirted with Doc Ock. Well, not really Doc Ock. Doc Ock's mind and Spider-Man's body, really. Still, Doc Ock did not take kindly to the flirt or approve of the relationship between Spider-Man and the criminal, so as a result, he beat Black Cat up, knocking out one of her teeth. He then wrapped her up in a web and left her for the police to find. Black Cat then swore revenge on Spider-Man, and I think you can guess how the rest of that romantic story went. Black Cat never seems to catch a break when it comes to dating, as was highlighted by her being a main character in the limited series Divas, a sort of superhero take on Sex and the City, if you will. Number 2. Venom. Black Cat and Venom have had a long-standing feud in the comics, starting in issue 316 of Amazing Spider-Man in 1989, when Venom actually almost killed Black Cat while trying to find Spider-Man. After beating her up pretty badly, Venom also offhandedly lets Black Cat know that Spider-Man got married while she was away, which appears to hurt Black Cat even more than any physical pain. The two were off to a rough start. They have always been on opposite sides of the fight, with Black Cat being a good guy and Venom being a bad guy. Now, with the tables having turned, the two are still opposed, with Black Cat being the new kingpin in New York and Venom is trying to reform himself and become a hero. Even though they still consistently team up to take down super baddies, as is recently seen in Venom Inc., it seems these two will never see eye to eye. Number 1. Stolen goods. Black Cat has stolen many items and many hearts over the years, but did you know that she also stole a vial of Peter Parker's blood? Don't worry, nothing creepy or weird. She didn't steal it out of Peter while he was asleep or while he wasn't looking. During the events of the Gauntlet, the vial of blood was in the possession of Mr. Negative, and Spider-Man was actually trying to track it down and get it back, but Black Cat beat him to the punch and sold the vial to Morbius before Peter could get his hands on it. You know what they say, the early cat always gets the vial of blood. And that was our top 10 surprising facts about Black Cat. I hope you enjoyed learning more about my occasional gal pal Felicia. If you have the Black Cat fever and you want to see more of this masked master criminal, you can check out the new downloadable content for PS4's Spider-Man, entitled The Heist. And don't forget to let us know what you think of the new game and DLC in the comments below. This is Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host MJ, asking you pretty please to stay tuned, click that thumbs up, tap that subscribe, and stay nerdy, Tiger.